Not the mama though, she ain't got shit to do with nothing. Because you know it now, you feel me? A bully. Not a bully. No. But the internet, you know, I'm just going on with the internet. You the Truthteller, you be all over Chicago. Okay. Now the camera rolling on you too. I'm gonna ask you questions. Okay. Ask me. Okay. Who fuck do I bully? I ain't never prayed on a week. Shark.
Alright, what I want to speak on is this rapper. You don't need to know who he is. If you don't know who this guy is, you don't really need to know who he is. That's not important. What's important is this. Understand this. His name is Memo600. He comes from the ghetto. And he comes from a hood in Southside Chicago, right? His hood became famous rappers, right? There was a spotlight put on his neighborhood, and if you were a rapper at that time, you could rise up and become famous because the fan base of Chicago rap loves the gangbanging. They love the violence. They know everything. They even know about the gang members who aren't famous. Guys who just stand on the block and sell crack all day. They're famous in these fan bases, right? So Memo600, he used to diss a lot of his rivals. They gangbang, they kill on a umpteenth level, right? So they diss the dead. See, what happens is these guys come up. But in Chicago hip-hop, it's normal to diss dead people. It's normal to say, to hell with your opposition, your rivals, right? To hell with them, even if they're dead. That's okay to diss them, even though they're deceased. But here's what happens. These young rappers, they start off as gangbangers, and then eventually they get signed. And then they get brought into corporate America, and they change their tune, just like Memo600 is doing. Who did I bully? Name one person I bullied. I don't prey on the weak. And he wanted to make that loud and clear. He wanted people to hear him say that because somebody from one of those labels came up to him and said, look, you're dissing all of these people. You're putting yourself in a losing situation by making yourself appear to be a bully. You're dissing dead people. You're dissing the mothers of these dead people. You need to do something because your PR is all messed up. We need to give you some PR strategies. Go out there and convince the world that you're not a bully because that's going to adversely affect your career. Now he's out there saying, I'm not a bully. I don't prey on the weak. But I can't get mad at these guys because these guys, their entire lives are online. So we can see the evolution year after year. So that's not natural. It's not natural to see somebody's evolution and maturation occur in real time on the internet because these guys, their entire lives are online. So you can see them 10 years ago when they were like 19, and you can see them now 10 years later when they're like 29, 30. So we've seen the evolution of this guy Memo, starting off as a gangbanger, dissing everybody who's dead. Everybody who died from his rival gang, he dissed them. He used to get in his car and ride in his rival gang's neighborhood, playing his music loud, just fronting for the camera. But he was basically he was feeding the bull crap. He was one of those guys that was feeding the bull crap, making fun of people. If one of his rival gang members got killed that day, he's making posts making fun of them in a derogatory way. And now his tune has changed, and that's because these record labels mean more to these guys than anything. At the end of the day, these guys talk all that gang stuff, but at the end of the day, they care about who signs that check. And if that white guy in that record label comes up to you and says, look, Memo, you need to rehabilitate your image, they're going to do it. Why? Because they want to be successful. They want to take care of their children. They don't want to be gangbangers for real. They just want to sell that to you because it's like, hey, it sells. They're selling it to you, but in their life, they're not living like that. I'm taking my son to private school. My son has an amazing tutor that costs $5,000 an hour. You know, Memo600 used to have really bad teeth. He got his teeth fixed. So my point is, when these guys become successful, famous, they sign record label deals, a lot of these guys aren't thinking about the streets. They're thinking about, you know, generational wealth, things like that. So don't let these guys influence you because in their personal lives, they're just saying this crazy stuff, dissing people just for you. But deep down inside, they don't really feel like that. I'm not a bully. Who have I bullied? You know what I'm saying? Like that PR team came to you and said, Memo, look, now that you're on our label or now that you're dealing with our corporation, you need to rehab your image. I'm telling you. Peace.